समारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः नारायण पद्मभं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्द योगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं दन्तोटकं वार्तिककारमज्ञानस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि यत्साक्षात् सच्चिदानन्दं प्रत्यगद्वयमक्रियं तन्नमामि यस्य योगिगमनं परं पदम् खानिलाग्न्यब्धरित्रन्तं स्रक्फणीयोद्गतं यतः ध्वान्तच्छिदे नमस्तस्मै हरये साक्षिणे श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Okay. 57. 7 is what we did last. So here, 57th verse was Namadibhya paro bhuma nishkalo karako kriyaha saeva atmavatam atma swatasiddha sahevanaha. So this atma is one in all beings, swatasiddha, and by itself, what is its swarupa? It is bhuma, nishkala, akaraka, akriya, and not one of the nama ityadi. So separate from, different from nama adi. Paraha, different also, you can say superior, but if you say superior means the other is existent, really not existent. So here, paraha means also not only different, but that which provides satta and spurti. So the same thing which appears with namadi bheda is one without a second. So atmavatam atma. Eka eva atma, atmavatam. Those who have atma, meaning the living beings, for all of them, in all of them, there is only one atma. So this is what we saw in the last patha with the introduction as Kidrik. Kidrik punaha vastu laksham. This is the lakshartha of aham pada or tattvamasi mahavak. In that tattvamasi tvam pada. Tvam pada. So tvam pada is upalakshana for aham pada also in mahavakya. Basically, jiva vachya pada. For that, the word tvam pada is upalakshana. So this is how we have to see. Further in the 58th verse, introduction we saw Purvam drashtuhu drishya anvaya vyatireko darshito. Okay, there was a question. There was a question on the chat. Yogi ji had asked as to what is the difference between drashta and sakshi. I've explained it many times that drashta has the drishya apeksha. Sakshi also has sakshya apeksha. But sakshi is not entangled the way drashta is entangled. The drashta has antakarana sambandha. Antakarana vishishta. Drashta is what? Antakarana vishishta. Antakarana becomes visheshana, meaning it is part of, it is his own dharma, as though. Like what? Viraha Rama. So Viratva is dharma of Rama. It is there in Rama. You cannot have that Rama without Viratva. Viratva is his dharma. It may come and go, that's all right. But Viratva is his dharma when you're talking about the current state. Vartamana Kale, you say Viraha Rama or Vira Devadatta. Let's say Viraha Devadatta. So Devadatta is Vira. Viratva may come and go, but Viratva is his dharma. He's entangled with that Viratva. He identifies himself as Vira. Whereas if this Devadatta is a Sakshi, if he sees himself as Sakshi, then Sakshi has no entanglement with the dharma that is seen by others or by himself also. In him, he has no entanglement there. He is free from that dharma. Is that making sense, Yogi ji? This was your question. Drashta and Sakshi Bheda. Drashta is entangled with the the drashtrutva dharma. Sakshi is not entangled. Sakshi is mere witness. Mere witness is not connected with the kriya. Drashta is connected
जी
with the
स्वामी जी।
darshana kriya. He sees darshana kriya. This is my darshana kriya. I am seeing, therefore I am a seer. Witnesser is not saying that I am witnessing, therefore I am a witness. Witnesser is choicelessly, without anything being or rather anything affecting him, becomes a witness. Does not affect him. You look at something and you keep looking, you are entangled. If you are a witness, you are a passerby really. Yeah, in the Laukika example, that is the difference. So Sakshi is not connected with the Antakarana. He is the seer of the Antakarana also. Sakshi is witnessing everything. Drashta cannot witness anything other than the Drishya. He is part of the equation. So Drashta becomes entangled with the Drishya Padartha as being seen, but he is the seer there. Witness is not only witness for the Drishya Padartha, he is witness for everything. He is Sakshi. Sakshi only, he is not entangled with any Kriya. So Kriya Sambandha, you have to see Kriya Sambandha, entanglement, which is that which makes a difference between the Drashta and the meaning subject. Subject of the action. He is involved with the action, agent of the action. Drashta, Shrota, Manta, Ityadi. Witness has absolutely no entanglement. I hope that clarifies. This is an important point. Yeah. But anyway,
जी स्वामी जी क्लियर।
this, yeah, what is the question? Yeah.
Swamiji, does that mean that Drishta is using Indriyas and Sakshi, there is no
True,
Indriya?
true. You can say that. Indriyas, the drashta is using the Indriyas. That's how the sambandha is. Kriya, to have the Kriya, you need that darshana Kriya needs Indriyas. True. He is using Pramana, Vyavahara is there. Pramana, Vyapara is there for the Pramata. Pramata is a common term for across the board with all Indriyas, right? So Manta, Shrota, even using the Antakarana also is the dharma of the using it as an instrument. He has a Karaka Sambandha. He's a Karta with the Karana Sambandha. You're right. Pramana, Indriya Sambandha, but not Drishta, okay? Drashta. Dhru and Dra, you have to differentiate. You said not Drishta. Drashta. Drish is a Dhatu. Drashta, you will have Dra. Repa and Ru. Repa is a Hal Akshara. Whereas Ru is it's a meaning Hal Akshara in pronunciation also, the time consumed, Matra. Hal consumes half a Matra. Less than or half a Matra. Even less than that you can say, but up to half a Matra. But R, the Hraswa, it's a vowel and Swara will consume a complete Matra, one Matra. Hraswa. Yeah, so R and R, there is a difference. Anyway, just a point in passing because many people say this Drishta, especially Drishta Shabda, this Drashta, people get confused. Anyway, that's besides the point. So here, Pramata is entangled with the Karakas and the Prameya also. Pramana, Prameya, although he is not associated with Prameya, but in the presence of Prameya, using the Pramana as his Karaka instrument, as his tool, as his Samagri, Sadhana, he becomes the Pramata. Whereas witness is witness of the Pramata also. Pramata also, you are Sakshi. When you are not entangled, you are Shuddha Sakshi. So this is how you, in the Drishya Viveka, you slowly withdraw yourself. So I think I am a Manushya. So there the Manushya Drishti is with the Sharira Drishti, Purusha, Stri, Ityadi, Sharira. So Sharira is Drishya just like any other Drishya, Ghatapatadi, laptop, Ityadi. I am Drashta of that also. I am the seer. And being so, Drishya is separated out from me. I am not the Drishya. The way I am not the Drishya, I am also what? Not the Antakarana also, Pramata also, Antakarana, Sambandha also has to be removed. So this is how slowly you land on Sakshi. But Sakshi has a dependency on Saksha also. All of those may get reality. In the understanding, they may also get the reality. Therefore, Sakshi word is also used only for Vyavahara to understand this point that you are separate from all of this. Others are Mithya. but there is no real presence of sakshya also, witnessed. So the witnessed objects, all of these, including the subject himself being the witnessed by the Shuddha Chaitanya, thereby you separate out the Shuddha Chaitanya, call him with the word Sakshi because we have to call him something, but the word Sakshi, Chaitanya, Brahma, Atma, all of these words, Chaitanya, Brahma, ityadi words don't have dependency on others, but the word Drashta, Shrota, Manta, or even Sakshi has a dependency on other word. There is an expectancy. Kim apeksha Sakshi. So Sakshyam apeksha Sakshi. Therefore, that dependency has to go. Therefore, Shuddha Chaitanya ityadi, these words are used. Shuddha Satta, Shuddha Atma ityadi, but Nirupadika, all these words are used. But still, those words also, although they don't have an expectancy of others, but there can be. For example, Chaitanya, you say you are Chaitanya means there is no, you are not Achetana, but Achetana may still remain separate from you. And Chaitanya also is, it has a Padartha, Pada Padartha. But then Chaitanya is mentioned as a word, we understand the meaning and then drop the word Chaitanya also. Without words, there cannot be understanding. So words are to be used. That's why after, in the end, it is what? Later what? It is all neti neti. You are Chaitanya, but there is no jada. Chaitanya is not your dharma. Although in English, there, for lack of better word, we say consciousness. That consciousness, ness is not the dharma. Ness does not mean like what? Potness remains in pot. Similarly, consciousness will be in a conscious entity. That is not the case. Consciousness is not the dharma, not guna. It is swarupa. Therefore, all these words, it is, therefore, yato vacho nivartante. Manasa sa, that's why yato vacho nivartante. The vak also, in the end, it can't do justice. We need words. Jnana prakriya is like that. You go from the grossest to the subtler to the subtlest, and then finally drop that also. And what you remain, that's why Swatasiddha, the word used is therefore Swatasiddha. How that is, how that will work, this is not something you can question and really get an answer. You are what you are. You Shuddha Anubhava Swarupa. There is nothing, every add-on when it is removed and nothing else can be removed, you call it by any other name, it is Swatasiddha. There is nothing else needed. So it is immediate. That which is immediate without anything else, that is the Swarupa of Atma, Pratyagatma, oneself, the real I. Anyway, so moving on further, Ajnana Uttha, thereby we had seen Samprati Sakshi Sakshi Anvaya Vyatireko Pradarshiyate. Now Sakshi and Sakshi Anvaya Vyatireka, what continues, what does not continue, what remains, that is being inquired thereby. Ajnanotha buddhyadi kartritva upadimanam parigriye eva anvaya vyatirikabhyam. We have seen this, so I am going fast. Aham sukhi dukhi cha iti ahankarade anatma dharmatva muktam. Aham sukhi dukhi ityadi. All the emotions are what? You are a witness to those emotions. Those emotions appear to be affecting us, but they cannot be swarupa. What comes and goes cannot be swarupa. Therefore, sometimes sukhi, sometimes dukhi, be it long time dukhi also, still not me. It is not my dharma. I am not dukhi, sukhi. Sukha dukha comes and goes. It is not my real dharma. It is not my swarupa. This is how one differentiates oneself from the sukha, what do you say? Sukha anubhavi. Sukha anubhavi, dukkha anubhavi, you disentangle yourself and instead of becoming a pramata, drashta ityadi, manta. Here manta. I have this feeling that I am sukhi, dukhi, that bhavana, that bhavi, one who has that bhavana, bhavanavan. I am not that bhavanavan also who is a pramata, antakarana, sambadha, I am not. And thereby what? I am separate from that, I am sakshi. This is how the prakriya is. So, Dirgdashya Viveka. So, further in the Tika, Ajnanutha. Ajnanutha, Buddhyadi Lakshana. What happened here? Okay. Ajnanutha, Buddhyadi Lakshana, Kartruttvadi, Kartrutva Upadhi Yasya. Ajnanutha, Ajnanajanya. Born out of Ajnana. What has sprouted from Ajnana? Karya of Ajnana. What is that? Buddhyadi Lakshana. Buddhyadi lakshanam yasya. This is also bahuri. So buddhyadi lakshana, characterized in the form of what? Buddhi. Vijnanamaya kosha. Oh, I, ahankara. Buddhyadi here is what? Ahankaradi. This is the identification, and then this is where the samsarana begins. And then this ajnanotya karya and karya sambandha with tadatmya, and I am this, thereby what? Karta. Then kartrutvadi upadhi. Kartrutva upadhi is mentioned. All kartrutvadi. It is an upalakshana. So kartrutvadi upadhi, kartrutva upadhi yasya. But here what the word has been used, it is in the further in the kartrutvadi. So I think we had seen this entire thing. We had seen the entire sambandhokti. So केवल आत्म अभ्युपगमे अशक्यत्वात् फलाभावाच्च, and अथ इदानीम अविद्या परिकल्पितं साक्षित्वम् आश्रित्य. This sakshitvam is also avidya parikalpitam because saksha dependency is there. Or we saw a second interpretation, sakshitvam ashritya, taking sakshitva as my dharma to separate myself from the pramatru dharma, pramatrutvam, kartrutvam nasti. Therefore, all that is avidya kalpita, and thereby I say, no, sakshitva is my dharma. Then I am not a witness also. So stepwise or direct jump. Even sakshitva is avidya kalpita, or I say, no, sakshitva is not avidya kalpita right now. I'll say everything else is avidya kalpita. Karya, sakshitva is my swarupa, so I separate myself as not a drashta, manta, shrota, ityadi, and then remove the sakshitva also. Thereby what? Taking sakshitva as my swarupa, kartrutvadi ashesha parinama pratishedartva. Kartrutvadi has been discounted as my dharma. This is how the prakriya is. And this kartrutvadi ashesha there. So here the Tika said what? Kartrutvadi upadhi yasya. Yasya, there is a tippana there. Tad ityatra tam iti pathaniyam. Chandrika, tad ityatra. There is no yasya. Yasya tad. So this tad. The tippana should be on tad. So here tad is what? Instead of tad, tam should be. Tat is napunsaka, but drashtaram. Tad drashtaram is, drashta is what? Pullinga. So drashtaram in second case is tam in masculine. So you read tam. Tam atmanam adaya ityartha. So taking this upadhi, drashta, see kartrutvadi is upadhi. Taking kartrutvadi as visheshana, one becomes drashta. But if you take it as upadhi, then you become a sakshi. It is an upadhi, agantuka. It comes and goes. So thereby drashtraram atmanam adaya ityartha. Taking that into account, holding on to the drashta, you will get entangled. But you move from that, take into account drashta. Oh, I have become a drashta now, I am a shrota now. Then you inquire into it and separate yourself out. You see it as an upadhi, it is not my visheshana. This visheshana won't go. This is not my dharma. So this is agantuka. Therefore, holding on to that, you move away and then you hold on to sakshitvam. I am a sakshi of this. So this is the idea there. Kimiti avidya adhyaropitam rupam angikrutam ityataha. Why do you take this drashtrutva, kartrutva ityadi as you say it as ajnana uttha, but why should you accept it at all? Why should you, in the analysis also, why should you accept it? Why should you start with adhyaropa? Because if it is avidyaya adhyaropita, it is superimposed due to avidya as my dharma, kartrutvadi, why should I give any value to it? Why do you, indirectly what, why do you use adhyaropa and apavada? This is a prakriya. Why do you hold on to that? Why do you take that as, the adhyaropa at all? Why don't you say that this is, why do you add on these kind of layers and then remove it? Why don't you accept it that this is, your swarupa itself? Either do that or don't accept it at all. Both pakshas are possible. But here the idea is kevala atma abhyupaga ashakyatvat. What ashakyatvat? Here it has been mentioned ajnanota buddhyadi lakshana kartrutvadi upadhi. Kevala atma cannot be karta ityadi. So why do you accept this kartrutva? If it is ajnana uttha, why do you accept it? He says this is our anubhava. I am a karta bhokta. So you have to start there as an adhyaropa. It is ajnana uttha. But if you say this kartrutva is your own dharma, kevala atma dharma, it won't work. And with kevala atma, you cannot do analysis. Aham brahmasmi. Then mahavakya won't work if you take aham as kevala atma, shuddha atma. It is that which is with the kartrutva upadhi in the aham brahmasmi also. So, ajnana utta buddhyadi lakshana kartrutva upadhi yasya, their aham shabda has that artha, vachyartha. It is not shuddha atma. If you take kevala atma, you cannot get phala because kartrutva is your own dharma, you won't get phala. And if you say aham brahmasmi, there aham is pratyagatma, then also the analysis is not possible. Phala bhavachya. Phala bhavachya, kartrutva is your swarupa. Okay, phala bhavachya. केवल आत्मा अभ्योग में अशक्यत्वात्. Anyway, टीकाकार will say more. So further he says केवल इति. Therefore, केवल इति. Why do you accept it? That's your anubhava. You have to accept it. You can't just wish it away. One. Second is that if you take shuddha atma as aham pada, there aham has ahankara meaning also. Then kartrutva will not become an upadhi. It will become a visheshana. Then that is impossible. You cannot have Shuddha Atma with, such Visheshanas, Kartrutvadi, Bhoktruttvadi Visheshanas. So thereby also both ways you can read it. Further, he is explaining what is that. Drashtru Drishyadi Lakshana Anvaya Vetireko Vina Keval Atma Pratipatte Ashakyatvat. You cannot understand, you cannot land on it also. This is the Mukhya Artha. You can read additional meaning as to it is not possible to have Kartrutvadi as your own dharma. But here, Anvaya Vyatireka is being shown. So you have to accept it as, initially in Jagrata Avastha Anvita. Then you do a pariksha, Avastatare pariksha ityadi, Panchakosha Viveka, Shariratraya Viveka, any of these, and then you remove the Vachyartha mixed up, unholy entities that have caused samsarana with that tadatmya sambandha. Cognitively, you remove all that. And then what you remain is the lakshartha, Shuddha Chaitanya. So, drashtru drishyadi lakshana anvaya vitireko vina. Here we have seen it as a samasta pada, unlike earlier. So, drashtru anvaya, drishya comes and goes. Thereby, anvaya vitireka analysis can be done. And without that, keval atma pratipatti ashakyatva. It is not possible. Even a yogi has to do that. In yoga prakriya also, in Sankhya and yoga also, analysis is needed. Because Sankhya is the theory part for the yoga, which is the practical part there. So they say dhyana is a practice. In that practice, what? You have to separate out. Using the theory, you have to separate out. There is viveka needed. So when you're breathing also, you witness the breathing. Breathing becomes shallow. So when you focus on the breathing, your, all the emotions calm down. Because your mind does not go outside anymore. The Sharira Sambandha is weakened. So Pratyahara Anga needs all this. Not only Asana and Pranayama, further on. So Asana and Pranayama needs Yama Niyama. After Yama Niyama, you do Asana. Asana perfection is needed so that you don't get disturbed in going towards the Antaranga Sadhana. Pratyahara is a connection in the Ashtanga Yoga. It is a connection between Bahiranga and Antaranga. It is a middle ground. So in Pratyahara, you slowly after Pranayama will take you away from all the Sharira Sambandha and Indriya Sambandha, which Indriya Vishaya Sambandha. Slowly you focus, your breathing becomes shallow, deeper. Then, in fact, from erratic breathing, it becomes, deeper initially in pranayama abhyasa. Then as you move within, it will become shallow. There's no deep breathing. You won't even know if somebody is meditating really, your actual yoga. You won't even know whether the person is breathing or not. It becomes very shallow. But still the shariratics, that much is sufficient. The prana is moving. So the external vayu is not needed much. Sometimes, those who have practiced bandha or those who know, prana is also logged. Sometimes the breathing is not even shallow, it is logged. Kumbhaka, antak kumbhaka, bahya kumbhaka, ityadi. So all this, the prakriya I'm just mentioning there. So even there you need that. By practice, that practice makes it possible to understand also. Oh, in Jagrata Avastha, I cannot live without breathing. But in as and when I got more and more meditative, pratyahara and dharana dhyana samadhi, there the breathing had become shallow, effortless. Didn't even know that I was breathing. Didn't even feel I couldn't, feel the breath also. Not hear. Hearing is, troubling, but I could not even feel my breath. How? That I was not, as if, I didn't even breathe for a long, long time. I didn't inhale. How did I survive? So this question comes up. And even if you don't find an answer, you are separate from the prana sharira, from the stula sharira, annamaya kosha, and so on. So everywhere without this kevalatma pratipattehe ashakyatva. Why anvaya vyatirika? Without anvaya vyatirika, it is not possible. Tvapada nishchaya is needed, and that can't be without anvaya vyatirika. I am not drishya, I am drashta. Then I am not drashta, I am sakshi. And tat pratipattau va tat pratipatti artha अन्वय व्यतिरेक प्रदर्शनस्य कृतकार्यतया vayarthyatya. So here what was mentioned is phalabhavachya. Vyartha, it will become vyartha. What will become vyartha? He says tat pratipattau va, towards that understanding vishaye, tat pratipatti artha prayojana. So that understanding is the phala. I want to understand. If that is the phala, then that phala won't be possible. Understanding phala bhavacha means there is no understanding possible without that, without anvaya vyatirika. So tat pratipatti artha. Pratipatti artha means what? Tat pratipatti artha. Yayoho anvaya vyatirikayoho. Tau anvaya vyatirikau tat pratipatti arthau. They are for the kevalatma understanding. What? Anvaya vyatirika. It is a prakriya. What continues, what does not continue. I continue even when the stula sharira was not even anubhuta there. I feel that, I am this sharira. But when I inquire into it, or in dhyana also, I don't feel that I'm the sharira. I don't even know, many times, that's why, why meditation also, when you fall asleep, you don't even know what you were doing last. When, there is you're really tired. You are sitting somewhere, and in some position, in some position you'll wake up. So you are sitting somewhere, and some other position, yeah, I hurt my neck, I hurt, God knows what all body parts I have hurt. Don't even know that in sleep. When you wake up, then the hurting starts. Why? I didn't even know that the body. But same position, if you take in Jagrata Avastha, it will, you'll feel the hurt immediately. In deep sleep, you don't feel hurt. The neck, head is hanging down. You won't sit like that in Jagrata Avastha. Head is like this, Aankh lag gayi thi. What happened? I know, I mean, how long I slept, I know, with the pain in my neck. So, spondylitis, resultant spondylitis. So, all this is what? You don't know Sharira Sambandha, Anvaya Vyatireka. So, Anvaya Vyatireka, even by force, nature forces Anvaya Vyatireka on us with pain. With pain. Did you know the pain? In Shushupti, you didn't know pain. How can you be the Sharira? So nature itself, gives you hints in all these manners. Swapna, in Swapna also, Swapna is a great hint. The only purpose that Swapna solve, other than, paying your shrink or whatever money, other than that benefit to you is what? Is the endless, is Anvaya Vyatireka. So Bhagavan has blessed us with Swapna for Anvaya Vyatireka. In Jagrata Avastha, all this. Swapna, none of that. In Swapna, all of this. Jagrata Avastha, none of that. So how can it be real? If your definition of Satta is what? What is real? Sat is what? Trikala Abaditam Sat. What does not go away in all three periods of time is Sat. All three avasthas is Sat. That is I. Only real I remains. So that is the Anvayaratika Vaitirika Phala. Therefore, Tat Pratipatti means Kevala Atma Pratipatti, Artha, Prayojana. That itself is the Prayojana Phala for which Anvay Vaitirika to show that Pradarsanasya Krutakaryataya. Krutakaryataya to attain that Phala. Krutakaryataya, Krutakarya means phala is attained, but Krutakaryataya vayarthat. Phala bhavat means what? Krutakaryata won't be there. Phalitartha won't be there. Charitarthatam will not be there. Krutakaryataya means what? Charitarthataya. The successful result won't be there. Vayarthacha. Atha idanim. Now what? Atha idanim, what was mentioned here? Atha idanim avidya parikalpitam. What about that? So phala bhavat is done. This much for up till phala bhavat. Kevala atma. Here kevala atma abhyupag mein ashakyatvat and phala bhavat. Those two hetus have been explained. Atha idanim avidya parikalpitam sakshitvam ashritya kartruttvadi ashesha parinama pratishedarthamah. There Tikakara says atha idanim. Thereafter now what? परिणामी बुद्धि उपाधि प्रयुक्त द्रष्टृत्व व्यतिरेकेण अनादि अविद्या उपाधि प्रयुक्तम साक्षित्वम आश्रित्य कर्तृत्वादि प्रतिषेध क्रियते इत्यर्थ. So this कर्तृत्वादि, द्रष्टृत्वादि, all of these dharmas are not my dharmas. How do I know that? That is being shown now. Atha idani. What is this? Parinami buddhi upadhi. I undergo change when I am a drashta, shrota, manta. Any kriya brings about change in me. Whether in just like you have wear and tear, just like you have in any thing that is used has wear and tear. Similarly, what? My antakarana undergoes change. Whether wear and tear or not, indriya. So, indriyanam jarayanti tejaha. So, like Nachiketa said in Kathopanishad, the more sukha you give me, the more indulgence, more my indriyas will be at a loss. I won't get enough rest. Indriyas need rest. Similarly, what? Antakarana also. Antakarana also needs rest. That's why, even Swapna is unwanted. Although, moderners wish each other, sweet dreams. We don't want dreams. I'm not lying down to, dream. I have a better life in dream. No. I need relaxation. I need sushupti. Dream is something which is a hint for a Vedanti. Otherwise, what? It is vasanas are fructifying. That's all it is. But I don't want to dream. Very rarely, if I wake up from a good dream, I say, okay, oh, same, fir wahi bhag dod, you wake up and then again I have to run around, rozmarra, jindagi, all that. So for that, sleep a little. So I want rest, but then, oh, it was a beautiful dream. Oh, it was a beautiful dream, all right, but it was a dream. That's what we say finally. So Jagrat is also like that, a beautiful life. But still what? A dream. So here, parinami, all those parinamas in me are not really in me. Where are they? Buddhi. And it is an upadhi. So parinami buddhi. Buddhi is parinami. When you say Ishvara, Ishvara is Jagat Karta. And Ishvara himself appears in the form of everything. Ishavasya midam sarvam. What is really undergoing change? Brahma, Chaitanya is a vivarta upadana karana. In Ishvara, when you say Ishvara is Saguna Brahma, Saguna means Maya Sahita Brahma, Chaitanya. So that Shuddha Brahma with Maya becomes Ishvara. Shuddha Brahma is Vivarta Upadana Karana. And Maya is what? Parinami Upadana Karana. Maya changes in the form of this Prapancha. And Ishvara changes. Why do you say Ishvara changes? That real Ishvaratva is not there. There is no real Ishvaratva. Ishvaratva is also Maya Kalpita. With Maya Sambandha Ishvara. Maya is itself Mithya. Maya is an imagination brought out by Shastra for us to understand as to how this Nirguna Brahma, Nirupadika Brahma appears in the form of this Prapancha. It's magical. There is nothing else. That magic is not real. It's magical. This creation is magical. It is not real. It is not creation. It is Parikalpana only. And if there is Parinama, what undergoes Parinama? Kalpana, Kalpita undergoes Kalpana Parinama. Kalpita Maya undergoes Kalpita Parinama. That is Kalpana. So therefore, Buddhi, in individual will say Buddhi. at the samashti level, we'll say it is Maya. So this buddhi is what? Basically buddhi or avidya karya. That is parinami. So parinami buddhi upadhi, that becomes upadhi. There is no real sambandha. Upadhi means what? Appears to be there as, as connected with me, but I am not connected. Thereby prayukta what? If that upadhi becomes visheshana, then I become drashta. So upadhi prayukta. If you say upadhi, then that drashtrutva is not my dharma. I will separate myself out. If I see myself as drashta, then it has become a visheshana to me. I already take buddhi as, me and mine. With me and mine, my dharma, and it is me. I am intelligent. I am intelligent means intelligence is my dharma, whereas intelligence is buddhi dharma. When I say I am intelligent, without knowing, I have made buddhi's dharma as my dharma. As soon as buddhi's gunas become my gunas, then buddhi guni is not separate. Buddhi guni is me really. I become the guni. Therefore, drashtutva becomes my dharma. I become drashta. But if you see this buddhi, which is parinami as upadhi, I won't have this drashtrutva parinama. I won't have this parinama. Then there is a vyatireka. Vyatirekena, separating it out. Oh, this is not me. How can I be a drashta and shrota? I am neither drashta nor shrota. Sometimes drashta, sometimes shrota. That time I am not drashta when I am shrota. I am not shrota when I am drashta. This is the anvaya vyatireka. And then you say, what comes and goes is not me. I am Sat Swarupa, therefore Vyatirekena Anadi Avidya Upadhi Prayuktam. This Buddhi Upadhi is also Anadi Avidya Buddhi Upadhi Prayuktam. Ajnana Avidya becomes Upadhi, and that brings about Buddhi as Upadhi. If I don't have this analysis, then avidya is already there in me as a visheshana, and therefore its karya buddhyadi is also my visheshana only. Then being a vishishta, I'll become a drashta, shrota, manta, samsari, jiva. Otherwise what? Once I know this, then sakshitvam ashritya. This sakshitva is what? Also what? Avidya upadhi prayuktam sakshitvam only. But stepwise, I can take sakshitvam and remove drashtruttvadi. For drashtruttvadi vyatireka, I need sakshitva. But is sakshitva real? No. That is also avidya upadhi prayuktam. So it will connect both ways. Thereby, kartrutvadi pratisheda. This drashtruttvadi, kartrutvadi pratisheda. I am not drashta manta, I am not karta bhokta, I am not pramata, I am none of that. Pratisheda kriyate ityartha. This is how the prakriya works. This is how you, pratisheda, the negation is done. Neti neti. Kartrutvadi pratisheda is what? Neti neti. Neti neti prakriya only. How this works is shown. Then the shloka proper. So, Esha Sarvadhyam. So, there is shloka. Esha Sarvadhyam Nrittam Aviluptaika Darshanaha Vikshate Vikshamanopi Nimishattad Dhruvodhruvam. So, Nrittam, there is a Patha Veda. Nrittam ityasya sthane Vrittam iti tika ukta pratika anusari Patha. So, there is a pratika Vrittam. So, Nrittam, both can be taken. Nrittam means what? Nrittam does not fit in well. Nrittam is a forced meaning. You have to take a poetic meaning. Nrittam means, bhutakala of dance. Nritya is nartani, to dance. So, and Nrittam ta, bhave also you can take, but here, Esha Sarvadhyam Nrittam. Bhutakala appears to be Bhutakala. We'll see. Nrittam or Vrittam. Vrittam means it is there. That is the vritti. So, bhave also you take vritti. So, eshaha padacheda, we'll see. Eshaha sarvadhyam nrittam aviluptaika darshana. Single word. Bhauri. So, one who has continuous darshana. That is the Atma. Vikshate avikshamanaha api nimishat tat dhruvaha adhruvam. So here, this avilupta ekadarshana atma is dhruva. Dhruva, still, this is how your anvaya is. Anvaya dhruva, nischala, one, kutastha ityartha. This kutastha always a Sakshi, that kind of Atma, of what? Sakshi of what? He says, Esha Sarvadhyam Nrittam. All of this, the presence of everything. Nrittam is presence, or Nrittam means dance, you can say. Dance of everything. Sarvadhyam, of all buddhi, even the dance of the subtlest of the buddhi also. Meaning what? The activities, vrittam, vritti of the activities of the buddhi also. Sarvadhyam. Of all buddhi, vrittis also, this Atma is Sakshi. Aviluptam, Avilupta, Aviluptam, Eka Darshanam Yasya. So, Avidyamana, Avidyamana Lopa. So, Avilupta. So basically what? Darshana does not go in Sakshi. You can say Sakshi of all vrittis of all dhi, or Sakshi of vrittis of all dhi, all buddhi. This is this Esha Atma. And Vikshate. So you say Avilupte Eka Darshana means, so always a seer, is it? Is it seer? So yes, Vikshate. Avikshamana api. Even while not really seeing, sees. That is a Sakshi. Why is Sakshi not a Drashta? What is the difference again? Drashta is seeing. Oh, I am seeing. But here what? I am seeing even without seeing. Meaning you, just like, without something which is going on around you, without actually looking around, you are just there. That's it. So imagine, some people are fighting, some people are chit-chatting, some people are dancing, whatever. You just know what is happening around you. Samanyena. Vishesha, you are not, oh, what are they saying? Oh, let me see. None of that. So, something which is going around you, you are just there. In your presence, everything is happening. In the presence of Atma, in the Udaharta, everything is happening. So, Vikshate, Avikshamana api, Eshaha, Aviluptaika darshana, Vikshate, Avikshamana api Vikshate. Nimishat tad dhruva adhruvam. This dhruva, avikshamana api dhruva, but still what? Steady. I am steady. I am not undergoing any change. Tad nimishat adhruvam. Adhruvam vikshate. All of that which is changing, being dhruva, without seeing them, I am seeing. Nimishat. Nimishat is, like the blink of the eye. Like nimishat is like a blink of the eye. That is how adhruva comes and goes. So I am Sakshi for all of that. Here, Vikshate. So in the Tika, so Sarvadiyam Eshaha, Sarvadiyam Nrittam Avileshaha, okay, Nrittam Aviluptaika Darshana, as it is. So here you swap, second line you swap, Dhruvam, Adhruvam Nimishat Tad, Avikshamana api Dhruvaha Vikshate. So Dhruva can go earlier also. Esha, all of this, and then Aviluptaika Darshana Dhruvaha, or Dhruva can go later also to show contrast with Adhruvam. Dhruva san Adhruva Vikshate. Avikshamana api Nimishat tad Adhruvam Vikshate. Let's see what Tikakara does there. So Esha Sarvadhyam Vrittamiti. What does it mean? So Vrittam has been used. So Vrittam instead of Nrittam. So therefore Vrittam is a better patha. Tika sees that. Evam Atma Aviluptaika Darshanaha. There's a tippana there also. What is it? Adarshana Aparinami Advaya Chitsvabhava Sarvasam Dhyam Nrittam Nimishadditi Patha Chandrikayam. Okay, Nimishat. So this is a patha there. So more words are there. Aparinami. So Adarshana. So what darshana? What the meaning? The entire word here. Aviluptaika darshana means what? Here further aparinami. Aparinami advaya chitsvabhava. One who is Chaitanya, which is Advitiya, that is his very swabhava, swarupa, that kind of aparinami atma, esha, is sarvasam dhyam nrittam. Nrittam nimishad. In Chatrika, the patha may be nrittam there. Nrittam nimishad iti patha. So here, nrittam nimishad. Here Tikakara says, evam atma aviluptaika darshana means what? Swayam nimishat. Jadarupam. Swayam, Swayam, not Swayam Jadarupam. Swayam Nimishat Jadarupam. Tatha Swayam Dhruva Adhruvam Vikshate iti Anvayah. Adhruvam Vikshate, because Dhruva Pullinga Atma Esha Dhruva. So Adhruvam Vikshate. Nimishat Jadarupam Vikshate, Adhruvam Vikshate iti Anvayah. And Vikshate means what? Vikshate iti Uktatvat Parinamitvam. Parinamitva Prasaktav Aha. Oh, Vikshate means is drashta again. So is he the drashta? So drashtrutva dharma is removed. How? Avikshamano pi. Even while not seeing, sees, meaning witnesses. Not really involved in the kriya. So sakshi means what? There is no kriya anvaya. Visheshana means what? There is a kriya anvaya, thereby drashta. Drashtrutva means kriya anvaya, darshana kriya anvaya. But here there is no kriya anvaya. कर्तृत्व शून्य स्वात्मन उपरक्तम स्वरूपेण एव अवभासयति इत्यर्थः. So स्वात्मन उपरक्तम. So there is no real connection from my side. As from the Atma side, I am kartrutva shunya. I have no sambandha kartrutvam also. That I am connected. There is no connection. That kind of kartrutva is also not there. There is no prakasha kartrutvam also. There is no satya and bhana pradatritvam also. But swatmana uparaktam. The other side as though feels connected with me. I am not connected. But the other jada as though comes to life in my presence. Satta and spurti is there in my presence. Therefore, although satta, spurti, pradatru kartrutvam is pradana kartrutvam is also not there. I am not giving that myself. Like Agni does not burn, it does not have, the kartrutva of dahana. Dahana kartrutvam nasti agno. But in its presence, other things, they burn. The usage will be Agni burnt, but Agni did not burn. It didn't have any kartrutva to burn. It didn't go out seeking that I will burn. You come here, I'll burn. No, it is just there. It's dharma. Swabhava is what? In its presence, others burn. Similarly, in my presence, everything else lights up. Atma, me, in my presence, everything lights up. Satta, spurti is automatically given, lent out as though, without any change in me. See, if you, it is not like the electric bulb or the charged battery where if you burn, if you burn brighter, if you light up others, then the the energy goes. There is vikriya. There is parinama. It is like that Agni, which lights up and provides heat just by its presence, whereby, because so you can't say that the Agni is burning if nobody is around it, it will burn for a long time. And if you sit around, it will burn for a less time because you have consumed the heat and prakasha. You cannot say that. So there is no change in Agni. Whether somebody is there or not, Agni will, with its fuel, so much fuel, it will burn only that much. It will burn that much, no matter anything is there in it, nearby or not. But in the exemplified, there is no exhaustion like that. Chaitanya will provide, Atma will provide Satta and Spurti in its presence for anything and everything, including Ajnana, including Samsaritva, all of these dharmas also, in its presence forever. Just by in its presence. Buddhi will come to light. So here, Kartrutva Shunya Swatmana Uparaktam. Connected with oneself, Swarupene Avabhasayati ityartha. It is very Swarupa, Avabhasayati illuminates, but not really illuminating. With the Vakya Prayoga, you are saying illuminator, but it's not illuminator. Illuminates without illuminating, without itself having any Kartrutva there. It is its very Swarupa. Swarupena Avabhasayati ityartha. This is the 58th verse. Further what? Here, Nanu Sarvaiti. Okay. So, Shanka Purvakam Uttara Shlokam Avatarati. With taking a doubt, raising a doubt, he answers, in the Sambandhokti, Bhagavan Sureshwaracharya says, Nanu Sarveti, Nanu Sarva Siddhantanamapi Swaswadrushti Apekshaya Upapannatvat Itaretara Drushti Apekshaya Dusthita Siddhikatvat Naikat Na Ekatrapi Vishwasam Pashyamaha. So there is this, the Purva Pakshi is being refuted. Left, right, center. This Purva Paksha, that is refuted. Another Purva Paksha, that is refuted. So Siddhanti is saying something, others are bringing their points. So this Madhyastha is a little confused now. Whether I should be Vedanti or a Tarkika or a Sankhya, what is this? And none of this is, none of this is standing scrutiny. From the perspective, see, those who don't have ruchi in this, those who, are not interested in the intricacies of the tarka, of inquiry, manana, buddhi gets tired further. So see, what he says appears right, but then refuted. Many times Purva Pakshi is very close. Oh, this appears right. Especially in Brahma Sutra, the Anandamaya Adhikarana. In the Anandamaya analysis, 4 koshas have been discussed. Even in Taittiriya Upanishad, 5th kosha is not mentioned as kosha. Every other thing is mentioned as kosha. Anandamaya has not been mentioned as kosha because, only in Brahma Pucham Pratishtha Ityadi Vakya you understand. Otherwise, you don't understand. Therefore, Vedantis are also confused. There is one, the Ekadeshi Vrittikara in his Mata, prior to Bhagavan Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, Bhagavan Bhashyakara refutes that Paksha, saying that he uses that Paksha to refute others. But then it appears as Siddhanta. Multiple sutras go by. After 4, 5, 6 sutras, you think that, this is the Paksha because others are being refuted. Then Bhagavan Bhashyakara says, repeats all the sutras and he says this is one interpretation of Ekadeshi Mata. Then Mukhya Siddhanta, another interpretation of all sutras again. He says, no, this is how this sutra meaning really is. Anandamaya is kosha, not real Swarupa. Limited Ananda, it's Sushupti, the Ananda that you have is not completely opened up. That is, otherwise, Brahma Pucham Pratishtha, you cannot be your own tail in imagination also. Tail in the sense, the Adhara. Adhisthana, you cannot be your own Adhisthana. Brahma is Adhisthana for Anandamaya Kosha also. So the simile is given for Dhyana Ityadi, that Prakriya, for inquiry also, Dhyana also. In Taittiriya, so he analyzes that and says, so when you go the first round, you think, oh, this is it. You don't even know this. You think that this is the only thing. But then multiple sutras are over. From the Siddhanta perspective, what is refuted, it is a Siddhanti Sutra. But it is Ekadesha Siddhanta. Then you go around and say, this is also not right. Appears to be right. It is not right. Very close, but not it. So, somebody who is studying that, he says, I'm really, I'm not getting it. This also seems right, that seems right, but then you have said this is wrong, that is wrong. Then he is showing some akshepa, I think that is right. It happens, right? When you study, I think he is right. But then somebody says, no, this is a flaw, there is this flaw. It's endless. So, nanu sarva siddhantanapi swaswadrushte apeksha upapannatvat. The darshanikas are sitting there. It appears right from their perspective. Somebody said, multiple points of view are being discussed. So somebody asked one great acharya, says this appears right to me. So he answered, yes, when you are studying this, that appears right. That appears right to you. But you look from their perspective. Their perspective, they are right. Because they have also established their darshana based on some flow. It appears right to them. Logically, they have a logical flow as well. You have a logical flow as well. Only when you meet, then you start seeing flaws in the other. That's why this manana, you bounce off your ideas with others. Therefore, the discussion will give you more clarity. Some will get more confused because, there is no inquiry. So here this person says, every siddhanta from their perspective, swaswadrushtya, each and every perspective of each and every darshanika's perspective seems tenable. Upapannatvat. From their drushti, it is right. Sarva siddhantanapi. Itaretara drushti apeksha. When you see, let me see what he is saying. you look into each other's darshana, then you start seeing flaws. Dusthita siddhikatvat. Then you see, no, this does not stand scrutiny. This is erroneous, that is erroneous. Then he says, then Tarkika is taking you as Purva Paksha, you are taking him as a Purva Paksha, meaning each and every Darshanika is taking the other Darshana as Purva Paksha. We say Purva Pakshi, they call us Purva Pakshi. Sankhya calls us Purva Pakshi, Tarkika calls us Purva. So we are Purva Pakshi for their Siddhanta. They think there is an Uttara Paksha. They think that no, our Paksha has to be refuted, opponent's view. Therefore, ekatrapi vishwasam na pashyamaha. I don't see anything trustworthy at all, says the middleman here. I don't think any of the darshanas is right. नच सर्वतार्किकैः अदूषितं समर्थितं सर्वतार्किक उपद्रव अपसर्पणाय वर्त्म संभावयामः. He says, and you cannot have that kind of a paksha which cannot be countered by logicians. So logicians can counter anything and everything. Why? Because you just need a statement of tarka. If you don't counter it, then it stands as right. See, I can say what like let's say just because there is a crowd, okay, I say there is a lot of crowd. So I'll say, oh, there is a lot of crowd here. Somebody famous must be here. Somebody famous, there are fans surrounding. I can say just like, just like whatever, just like a guru or some film star or something. So let's say if I, in my mind, let's say, people flock towards film stars. Let's take the current trend. So I say, oh, some film star must have come here. There are so many people here. There can be accident also. There can be something else also. There can be some free distribution of something also. Some, something may be going on. How can I give tarka like that? But if you can't counter it, if I say, there is a famous person here because there is a crowd, like, there in the case of Prasiddha example, this tarka will stand ground. It has to be countered, otherwise it is tarka. You have to show flaws because I already concluded and it is right. It is right in a sense, yes, example is right. Here also it appears so. So appearance makes this tarka right. Therefore, it says, nacha sarva tarkiki adushitam. But some other tarkika will come and show flaw. Why? Without film stars also there is a crowd. For example, in politicians, done, tarka is gone. You can't use that tarka anymore. It's gone. So you have to clarify, add visheshanas and keep on going endlessly. Somebody will show you a flaw. No, here there is a flaw. If you have been a fault finder, some kind of a job or something, troubleshooting jobs, engineering troubleshooting or whatever, then you start seeing flaws everywhere. Except in yourself, you'll start see flaws everywhere. So what happens? You start debugging all this, so basically you use my advice, I'm not using anymore. So Tarkikas are like that. They built to see flaws. Buddhi is continuously working, 24/7. You wake up with the tarka. I must be awake. Why? Because, my sense organs are working. So I am not asleep. So all this buddhi comes up. So in simple things also, tarka will work. Sarva tarkikai adushitam samarthitam. Adushitam and samarthitam. Oh, I support this. Every tarkika saying, I support this paksha. This is flawless. No, they can't find flaws. That kind of a thing. Sarva tarkika upadrava apasarpanaya vartma na sambhavayama yama. There is no possibility. We cannot bring about such a paksha which cannot be set aside by upadrava of all tarkikas, to having one-upmanship. Whether it is ego or pradarshana of buddhi, tarka pradarshana, it's not a flaw. Tarka is like that. So you see flaws in others, you bring about something more, you bring in your paksha, then the other one will show flaws. It will be an endless debate. But there will be no conclusion of all Tarkika saying that this is it. No dosha and this is perfect. You cannot say there is some Tarkika can show flaws. So therefore, what uchyate? Siddhanti says, Visrabdaihi sambhavyatam. He says, no, accept this Vedanta as truth. Confidently, Visrabdaihi, Nissamshayana. Without any doubts, you accept this Vedanta Paksha. Why? Because it is Shruti Mulaka. There is a tippana there. What does it say? सर्वेषां तार्किकादि प्रस्थानानाम् अनुभव अतिरिक्त एव विप्रतिपत्तेः आत्मरूप अनुभवांशे कस्यापि अविप्रतिपत्तेः तत्र विस्रब्दैः जिज्ञासुभिः संभाव्यतां स एव आत्मा इति विश्वासः क्रियताम् इति आह विस्रब्दैः इत्यादिना. सारार्थ, he says what? Finally, this is important. Okay, visrabdhehi means what? Jijnasuvi sambhavyatam sa atma eva iti vishwasa. That vishwasa is not there. So you have dhrida vishwasa. Shraddhavan lavayate jnanam. So confidently you accept it. How? He says, I'll give you that confidence here. He says, thereby sambhavyatam, and then tatra hetu. What is hetu? Here, nacha. For nacha, there was a tatraiva hetu. Nanu sarva here. He says, no, they disagree with each other. So I don't have any, trust in any of these darshanas. So tatra hetu what? Nacha. Nacha sarva tarkika. Why? Because there is no acceptable paksha. There is no paksha which is acceptable to everyone and which is flawless and which cannot be, countered later also with some one-upmanship. Thereby he says, Prashnikam, further he says what? Yeah, here, Anubhava Matra Sharanatva Sarvatarkika Prasthananam. Siddhanti says, finally, you have Shraddha. You Shraddha, have confidently walk the path. You walk the path. You think that there is no path which is flawless. You walk this path. And it will culminate in Sakshatkara, Anubhava. There won't be any doubts then. Currently, so that's why Puja Swami used to say, Shraddha means what? Not blind faith. Initially, you can say that. You start off with that. He used to say what? Belief pending investigation. Belief pending. So you have to start off somewhere. You can't start doubting everything, oh, what I'm seeing. Oh, because sometimes you have seen Rajju Sarpa, you cannot doubt when you see Rajju also. If you doubt everything, you cannot have Vyavahara at all. Sadhana is not possible if you don't, follow the darshana itself. You have to follow it. So even Sankhya's don't remain Sankhyas, they become yogis. Tarkikas, they inquire into it, they look into everything. Finally, with that inquiry, you have to land on Atma Padartha. Atma Padartha, only Padartha, segregation will not give you everything. You have to land on that Atma Padartha. What is that? Nyaya Vaisheshikas also. Purvamamsaka, just that jnana of karma kanda won't work. Upasana and karma. You have to do it. Karma has to be done. So you have to walk the path in each and every darshana. Vedanta also same thing. Siddhanti says, here with this analysis what we have established, you walk this talk. Walk this path walk this path means what? Not practice. Shravana Manana Nididhyasana you follow, with Shraddha, it will open up. There won't be any doubts. Finally, there should be conviction. That conviction will be there. Thereby he says what? He says why all of these tarkas, Anubhava Matra Sharanatva Sarvatarkika Prasthananam. And he says that they are also using Pratyaksha Pramana based on that. And in the end, you will land in Anubhava only. You start with that Pratyaksha Anubhava, use Tarka. All Tarkas have basis on Anubhava only. So you look at your Anubhava. With Anvaya Vyatirika, you look at your Anubhava. So you walk the path, see the Anvaya Vyatirika. It is not only Tarka, it is not Shuddha Tarka. You inquire into your Anubhava. Are you Ananda Swarupa when you wake up? Do you know that you had Ananda? All of this will follow. So the Prakriya that we have used, it has Anubhava backing. It is not only, Shruti says so. No. There Shraddha is needed. But Shruti says so using your own Anubhava. Samanya Anubhava. Sushupti example, Swapna example. It is not something, mystical. It is not saying something in, when you die, you will go there and then you will have. Shruti does not do that. Shruti holds on to your own experience of prapancha, uses that as what you take as axiom, says Adhyaropasthaniya, talks about the Srishti, there is a creator, Ishvara, all of this, then slowly weans you away with the possibility of Swapna, etc., how this came about to be, removing impossibilities, showing possibilities, Sambhavana, and slowly landing you into Ekameva Dvitiya Atma, conviction there in such a manner that anything else is impossible. Then no tarka can counter you. Your anubhava is that. Sakshatkara is such that otherwise not possible. Had this prapancha not been mithya, it is not possible. That conviction Shruti gives you. Therefore, there are some underlying meanings I'm saying. This is not exactly what all these meanings are not there in that vakya, but such possibilities are there. So we'll see more in the tika in the next patha. Tad abhidiyate in the next verse. But there's a long 59th verse, and there is some tika also. Tika also you have to cover. So we'll see that in the next patha. साक्षात् सच्चिदानंदं प्रत्यगद्वयमक्रियं तन्नमामि नित्यस्य योगी गम्यं परम पदम. नमस्ते, धन्यवाद.